Having an awesome Thursday. I am washing clothes, not doing too much, but I was listening to a couple interviews or people were doing interviews and posting videos about the Jay-Z interview that he just recently, or that just recently came out, because I believe the beginning of that interview said that that was done in January of this year. So yeah, I had to make a part two because I already knew that when I did the first video, that was just going to state my opinion on everything that I saw from the interview. Right after I watched it, I went ahead and did that video. And then of course I had to watch YouTubers page who know Jay-Z, like Jaguar Wright, like Choke No Joke. I had to watch them talk about the interview itself because, of course, I have my opinion on the interview, but I don't know the man. Okay? Everything in this video is alleged and in my opinion and the opinions of others. Okay? But it's alleged. I don't know this to be true. All this is for entertainment purposes, but we're just going to have a conversation. Okay? So a couple things that I wanted to bring up. I want to start off by talking about the Rihanna situation. Now, after listening, another person, I'm not even going to bring her up, but another person, YouTube channel I watched, she was talking about how she pointed out the fact that Jay-Z said women and children are off limits, but yet he seems to harm, allegedly, women a lot. Okay? I'm going to start with Rihanna. So think about it. Rihanna, I'm not sure if she signed with Roc Nation still, because when I looked up Roc Nation, it did show her photo, but I'm not sure who she signed with. But I saw her picture on Roc Nation's website, allegedly. Okay? That was a couple weeks ago. I don't know if it's still the same or whatever. So when I think about the situation with Rihanna, I was like, why would Jay-Z have something to do with that? Because Rihanna's on his label. Well, I guess she's not bringing him money because she's not producing any music, but she has in the past. So I know her music that she's done has produced money for Roc Nation. But I was like, why would it benefit him, if that's the thing? Why would it benefit Jay-Z to come after Rihanna? You know, why? Like, why? But then, okay, a YouTuber brought this up. What's up, Vivian? A YouTuber I was watching said that, think about it, Beyonce and Jay-Z are allegedly going on tour soon. So if Rihanna was to make another record, she would possibly have to go on tour. Now, in this economy, money is tight, okay? We already know the past 5 years, people been going to see Beyonce every single year, not paying their rent, not paying their mortgage, using their credit cards to purchase those tickets. Would you go see Beyonce again? Or would you go see Rihanna? That made sense to me. I was like, oh, yeah, because remember, Rihanna just came out earlier this year and stated that she was going to be she was back in the studio. She's going to put out an album. I'm like, oh, okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Take her out of the picture so you ain't even got to worry about her going on tour and you trying to, battle it out. Because y'all know, allegedly, Beyonce don't like nobody to steal her thunder. Okay? She don't like it, but she not going to say it. The others around her tell how, she don't like for anyone to steal her thunder. But you already got Monica and Brandy. I'm not sure if that tour is still going on. But you got, what her name, Kelly Rowland. She on tour with them. So, I didn't even think about it. it didn't even dawn on me that here Kelly Rowland is on tour with Brandy and Monica. No offense, because they're both great artists. Okay, when it comes to music, I don't know them personally. I'm sure they got some skeletons under their closet, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay, but why would Kelly Rowland go on tour with Brandy and Monica versus Kelly Rowland going on tour with Beyonce? Has anyone ever thought of that? I've never heard anyone even mention that. What's up, Crystal? Yeah, that seems very strange to me. So thinking about that, I'm like, Beyonce don't want no one to steal her thunder. Okay? She wants to be the headline. Matter of fact, I don't even know who goes out on tour with Beyonce when she go on tour. I don't even know. I know when she came to Houston, she brought Megan out. Other than that, I don't know who else goes on tour with Beyonce. She's the only star there. What's up, Crystal? Stop. So, yeah. So, it makes sense to put a threat out there, allegedly, for Rihanna so she could sit down somewhere. She just had children. You know, everyone loves her Fenty line. You know, allegedly she's a billionaire, but she has a boyfriend. You know, they were showing their faces out. They were out here in these streets. You know, Beyonce and Jay-Z haven't been in these streets like that. They've been trying to hide because of all the lawsuits and stuff brought about with Jay-Z, allegedly. Right? So it makes sense. What's up, Maddie? It makes a whole lot of sense. So another person is Nicki Minaj. So apparently, allegedly, Nicki Minaj's house got squatted on. Is it called swatted when some people call the police and then the police come and do a whole raid and everything? I remember Tariq Nasheed went through the same thing because some people did that to his house. And they had it on camera. They had it recorded. They recorded the whole thing. So I remember that and how scary that was because I was thinking, oh my goodness, I hope Tariq is going to be okay. So I can't even imagine what Nicki Minaj was feeling when she went through that. Now, mind you, she's going through the mess with Roc Nation because they won't give her access to her royalties or something, allegedly. So Jay-Z said his fake phony behind up there in that interview with that little kid, stud looking type kid, and said that women and children are off limits, but yet he's been out here dogging women, okay, like it ain't nobody business, allegedly. Let's not talk about Ramir's mother, Wanda. Okay, she was 14, 15, allegedly. He was in his 20s or 30s. And allegedly, Ramir ended up being a product of that relationship. And yet, he's doing all this ducking and hiding, but has yet to take a paternity test just so he could dispel the rumors that he's the pappy. Because if you see Ramir, even when he was young, there's pictures on the internet of Ramir when he was like a kid, like a toddler, I guess. And he still looked like Jay-Z. But yet women and children are off limits? For what? He said that's the street code. That's morally correct. What? This dude is a trip. The fact that he would do an interview with some little kid who doesn't really understand, I'm pretty sure, what a grown person understands, right? Jay-Z is almost 60 years old, okay? I'm 40, okay? I'm in my 40s. So, I remember, okay? I remember the times Thank you. Is my voice that bad? I remember the times, okay, when Biggie was a huge thing, and next thing you know, Jay-Z came out and he was using some of Biggie's rhymes. And then folks are talking about he's the greatest rapper ever. What? Stealing people lines and stuff? He was sitting up there in that interview stealing people quotes. Just stealing them and throwing them out. Just throwing them out like you playing spades or something. Just I was like, are you serious? You ain't got no real quotes of yourself? Are you serious? Okay? So that's Rihanna in her house. That's Nicki Minaj in her house. I don't know. It's something about these women and houses, right? Now, Ramir's godmom is the one who has been now. They don't talk about how Ramir's mother passed away, but I feel like that may be suspicious as well because she was in court going hard trying to get Jay-Z to take that paternity test, and the courts would not allow him to take that paternity test. Then she passed away, and she told Ramir's godmother to keep it going. That's her wish, is for her to keep it going. What's up, Carmela? So that's why she kept it going and have Ramir doing whatever. So they've been back and forth in court, and apparently Jay-Z, either he did or he attempted to take one of her houses that she owned, straight up put a lien on her house so she couldn't sell it. This is crazy to me. So that's another woman in house. So that's 3 women in their house. 3 women who have children, but yet he says children, women and children are off limits, right? It seems like Jay-Z has come up off people's backs. Reminds me of Diddy. Diddy did the same thing. Diddy had so many wonderful artists that he was able to help, build up their career. And then he tore them down, gave them those phony contracts that didn't let them get any money, just celebrity status. I mean, even though it is their fault for not getting a lawyer and, making sure their contract is correct, I mean, it is what it is. So you talk about the culture, which is what he was talking about, the culture. His whole GQ interview and everything was all surrounded about hip-hop culture. So when you talk about hip-hop culture, I mean, you have to think about all these artists that, can't even feed their families. Because the culture back in the day was about the community. It was about building a community. You were dancing in the street. Social media wasn't a big thing. I remember, having my little radio, playing it outside, dancing outside. He talked about breakdancing is a thing of the past, is no longer hip hop, is it's Olympics. Like, what is you talking about, dude? Just because you can't make an album with all your lyrics, that you didn't steal from other artists, doesn't mean that goes for everyone else. And yeah, I said it, This dude is not the greatest. He's out here calling himself Hove, which is short for Jehovah. And folks are up here supporting him. And I'm not even Christian. But I just feel like the audacity of you to think you are a god. He just kept being real cocky in that interview. And I said, watch, that's going to backfire on him. It is. I can predict that. Diddy did the same thing when he did that interview. He did 2 interviews, I believe, with white guys. And when he did the interviews, I was like, why did he do that interview? Like, who's checking for him? But I think it's a cockiness there. I think it's some type of cockiness when they're sitting up there on their high horse, saying, "Oh, I'm Jay-Z. I'm Hove." Okay, with that grill in the bottom of his mouth that he probably ain't pulled from out its container for years, okay? Because where you been at all this time, Jay? The hip hop culture has been here. He did an interview as if he is relevant in a good way. Okay? He said he was letting it all out, right? He told the interview they were going to talk about everything, right? Did they talk about everything? Didn't talk about Nipsey Hussle. Didn't talk about Diddy and how he said Diddy wasn't even his friend, allegedly. He said they were just business partners. Who believes that? If you believe that, you're a fool. Okay? Him and Diddy were in cars together, okay, having parties together, and that's just your business partner? So you got a business partner, but y'all not friends? It's only business? How that works? I'm just saying this to say that I know folks are probably going to buy those tickets. And then he said that they had a whole bunch of tickets, people on the waiting list to get the tickets or some mess. They had a million people in the waiting to purchase tickets line. Okay, because the Roots is a big deal. They're a big deal. Each and every year they have their Roots picnic. Now, I've never been to it, but I've always heard about it. And I know the Roots get a lot of play. Like, people actually like them all year round. Okay? And, I mean, as far as we know, we haven't heard any scandals or anything about them, so it makes sense that they just stay relevant, right? Now, Jay-Z, on the other hand, with his cockiness, okay, is a whole nother story, because didn't we just get word that his name was in the Epstein files? How did that happen? Why wasn't that brought up? Why wasn't Diddy brought up? Why wasn't Epstein brought up? Why wasn't Nipsey Hussle brought up? Okay, didn't he take over ownership for Nipsey Hussle line after Nipsey Hussle passed away? Why he didn't talk about that? I would have loved to hear about that, because I know Nipsey Hussle got caught up with Diddy to help him with his album that he had already completed, and then Diddy held him up and held him back and made him work on that album for almost a year, even though it was already completed. And then the next thing you know, he's gone. And I believe, allegedly, Jay-Z had something to do with the Marathon company. I don't know. What about Prince, y'all? Y'all remember? Well, let me remind you, okay? Prince allegedly was supposed to be working with Jay-Z and someone else, I forgot, right before he passed away. Yeah, I remember. Okay? And then allegedly, word in the street is that allegedly Prince's girlfriend at the time was working for Jay-Z. Craziness. And they tried to tell us that Prince passed away from an overdose, allegedly. And I don't know Prince to do rugs with the D. I thought he was vegan, vegetarian or something. I didn't even know he did rugs. So I won't even believe no mess like that, because I've never heard about Prince doing rugs with the D. I believe that was just a lie. I believe that was a lie. You ever watched the Maury show and he said that the test results came back and that was a lie? I think that was a lie. Allegedly, I don't believe that Prince had any rugs in his system unless he was rugged, okay? Because if you remember, he had just went to the doctor to get medication right after he came from out of town or something. Then he went home. They say he was riding his bicycle. And then the next thing you know, he passed away either later on that night or the next day or something. So yeah, don't believe that story, but I was heard that Prince was supposed to be doing something with Jay-Z. Who else? Another thing, though, about Jay-Z and his cockiness is that I feel like one of the reasons why he wanted to come out and do this interview is to try to get good publicity for himself. But to come out there being so cocky, it's like, who is he talking to? Now, young folks might not understand who this man is. But I remember people who are his age or a little bit younger than him, we remember. We remember who you are, dude. Okay, Foxy Brown. Allegedly, you was messing with Foxy when she was 15. She was crazy in love with you. Kathy White, allegedly, a lady was going to do an interview with Kathy White and then about y'all relationship, and allegedly she passed away. And then allegedly she was with child. And then allegedly Beyonce came out and said she was pregnant, like not too long after the girl passed away. And then allegedly, well, no, that's not alleged. We saw her do an interview, Beyonce that is, and her belly collapsed or folded in. And we like, well, I was like, ain't no way this woman sitting up here talking about she pregnant. Your belly don't collapse, a cave in when you're pregnant. That doesn't happen. But we still didn't get the truth about that. Allegedly, Wendy Williams said back in the day, and I remember, that Jay-Z had a child with Free from 106 in Park. Allegedly. Now, yeah, I'm that old because I remember 106 in Park, and I remember Wendy Williams talking about Free was pregnant in a hospital with Jay-Z baby, and said Jay-Z came to see her each and every day, allegedly. Now we know Wendy Williams in that position she's in. So I don't know if she could come out and tell anything, give any info about that. But I'm not sure if you can still find that interview. But I remember what I heard, okay? Because I was like, oh, that's why Free disappeared. But Free's not, I don't believe she told why she disappeared. Because I believe she was like was she a dancer also? Maybe not. I'm not quite sure about that. But like, she could have had a lot of roles and stuff. She could have still be relevant, but she got taken all the way out of the equation when it came to celebrities. I don't know what happened with Free, but she came back just as beautiful as ever, and she does have a son. So I don't know, but I know Jay-Z is who child? He is a lot, and I want to talk about it. Okay, who else he has done wrong allegedly? Oh, that girl with the case in Attorney Busby, the girl who's autistic, who came out and brought the case out. Now, why would this autistic girl be filing this case against him, and she lying? Not to say that autistic people don't lie, but think about it. A lot of folks are saying, oh, well, that case got dismissed. It was a defamation lawsuit, y'all. Okay? There was no judgment brought against the girl or Tony Busby, allegedly, for defamation. Which means it would have had to been some type of truth to some parts of that girl's story. So a lot of people saying, "Oh, well, he wasn't found guilty for that. He won that case." Was that really a win if it was a defamation lawsuit and no one was held accountable for defamation, which means it would have had to been some truth in it? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Okay? But yeah, he's sitting up there talking about women and children are off limits. Even though he's about to be stressing Blue Ivy out, pushing her out here so she could work just as hard as Beyonce. Because to me, they look like they the only two working hard. And then if Beyonce is about to have another tour, that makes me think they ain't no billionaires. Okay? Allegedly, Jay-Z can't even get a loan, and he's a billionaire. What you need a billion? You're a billionaire. What you need a loan for? That don't make sense to me. I'm sure he has plenty of property, assets that he can liquidate so that he could get the money he need. Maybe he just like using other people's money. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I know y'all gonna tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Because I know folks about to be mad. Big mad. But yeah, make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. Okay? Because I really appreciate it. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Yeah. Let's see what else. That whole interview looked like it was staged. Okay, that looked like it was set up, like he already knew the questions because he probably brought the questions with him when he gave it to that little kid who looked like a stud. I don't mean no harm to the kid or the young guy, or I don't know who he is, because I tried to look him up on Google and I couldn't find nothing about him. Now, I didn't try social media because I don't care that much, because who is he? I don't even know him. So, yeah, but you could tell that was staged, because if he's coming on there representing the hip hop culture, why wouldn't he go and revolt? Why wouldn't he go to the Breakfast Club? Let Charlamagne ask him a question or two, even though it's not like I'm giving Charlamagne any big ups or anything, like I'm bigging him up, because I'm not. Because he has that case, or that allegedly a girl said that he R-worded her when she was a young girl. And he even talked about it. And nothing happened with that. And I thought that was crazy. So apparently it's like a lot of these guys are just doing that to women or young girls, just having their way with them, whether allegedly, whether it's what you call it, whether they want to do it or not. But he's sitting up there gonna tell us that lie, talking about women and children are off limits. Dude, come on. Who you think you fooling? Nobody. But I don't know. I feel like he's fooling someone. Now, so he's on tour, or I think they're supposed to be having a tour, or it's just like a one show or whatever in Philadelphia. But the Roots are already big. That's something they do every year. So to me, he's more like an energy vampire, getting that energy there. It reminds me of how the rodeo season is here in Houston. You have a whole lot of artists. People have to pay for each show to see each show. So with his show, he's probably like, oh, okay, they already got big artists there. Let me insert myself, because I bet he inserted himself. I bet he didn't ask for permission to be on that tour, because they have that tour every year. or that show or whatever every single year. So why did he choose now? My nose is itching, which means someone is talking about me, probably upset with me. That's what they say, right? But why is he just now getting on tour with them? Why he didn't been do that years ago? Energy vampire. He trying to get a heads up on clearing his name and everything. Nah, he ain't bring up Epstein and why they said his name was on the list. He ain't bring up Epstein, ain't bring up Diddy, ain't talk about Rihanna and her situation or how he was there to help her or anything. I'm like, and then he barely talked about the case with him and Busby. He just said that made him angry or mad, but he said he would never do anything like that. But he didn't say what that was. He didn't go into details or specifics. How am I trust that you didn't have anything to do with that if you ain't even saying what that is? Okay? What, mess with young girls? Allegedly, Wanda was a young girl. Okay? That's how Ramir got here. Allegedly, he was messing with Foxy Brown. She was a young girl. Okay? Just funny to me. Weird to me. And then, child, he got a whole museum. And it has that little, what's that box or that, what's that stone? That's like, is that like a Jewish thing or something? That stone, it just is given satanic. He was given satanic to me in that whole interview. The way he was sitting, those pictures that they were showing he did with GQ with the one eye symbol and the mask, hiding behind the mask, letting you know exactly who he is in plain sight. Okay, hiding behind the mask. Half mask, right? Not being completely honest. It's like these celebrities will do interviews and they tell exactly who they are without exactly telling you who they are. It's like you have to read into the line or decode it, right? To find out what they're really trying to say. It's like I'm going to say one thing, but right, that's not what I really mean. You have to read into the line. Or it makes me feel like maybe they're speaking to a certain audience, okay? He didn't talk about why he hang with Marina Abramovich or whatever. And I did a video about her. Y'all check that out. It's here on this channel. He didn't talk about that. There was a picture that he took where his head was back and he was like screaming or something like that. And it reminded me of that lady who is the designer who be with what's that guy? What is that lady name? Michelle something? Not Michelle. Well, I'm thinking Michelle. That lady, she got her fingers are dark because she tint her fingers. And she got whole grill on top and bottom. He looked like that lady to me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. She married to a designer guy. And they have those weird, real strange costumes or clothing line. And I believe they're in Paris. Dag, I forgot her name. But yeah, real weird. All the pictures and everything. The interview was weird. The location they was in, that room, one was real dark, the other one was light, which is giving me like duality. I know when I say stuff like this, a lot of people don't trust what I'm saying, which is fine. I could definitely understand. But when I peep out certain things, I just want to mention it because I know somebody else is thinking it as well. Crazy. Crazy. That whole interview was just craziness. Who else am I missing? Trying to get this natural light in. What's up, Anthony? Now I know there's a whole lot of Jay-Z fans, boy. You can't go nowhere in this. It's not Jay-Z fans, boy. They think he is the bomb. And I'm thinking, if Jay-Z really was the bomb, why he ain't go on tour? Beyonce went on tour 10 years in a row. Allegedly, I'm just playing, okay? And he ain't went on tour yet, but he gonna get on the coattail of the Roots, because that's like the hottest thing going out. Now I know he went on tour with Beyonce, but did he have his own tour like recently after him and Beyonce did the tour together? It's like he's always doing stuff with other people, but then he's saying I'm Hove, as if he's the one, but he's attaching himself to other people who are the one actually, you know, and trying to make it seem like he's the one with all the talent. It's weird. It's weird. Let me see. What else with Jay-Z? Because he's a whole hot mess. Child, that interview was a mess. When I think about it, it seemed so long. But it was only 30-something minutes long. But I couldn't wait for that thing to be over. I was yawning. I was like, this man ain't saying nothing. And I didn't expect him to say nothing anyway. I knew he was going to waste our time. Oh, he had something to do, allegedly, with putting a documentary out on R. Kelly. As if, allegedly, he wasn't messing with young girls. Very, very interesting to me. I think 50 Cent put that out there long time ago when everything happened. 50 Cent said that Jay-Z was the one who paid the lady who did the documentary about R. Kelly. Jay-Z had something to do with that, putting that whole production together, allegedly. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, Jay-Z is gonna fall hard just because he's a part of so much demonic stuff, and he has done so much wrong, okay? And then he trusts to say that he hasn't got caught up in anything. I guess not, because you hanging with that Perez lady. She was caught up with the cartel, and then somehow she got out of a situation that was real messy, allegedly. And now he hanging with her, and allegedly she's the Fed. And then he's supposed to have allegedly stock or money into the prison system. Allegedly, the reason why he was fooling with Epstein is because he was supposed to handle the black people or the black community and keep us calm, or keep us keep us at a certain level, which makes sense. I could believe that. Because if you think about history, they've always had a black person that handles other black people. Martin Luther King, okay? Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, okay? Now, they didn't do good by black people at all. That other guy, the lawyer guy, who deal with the civil rights stuff. What's his name? Dag. Tamir Rice's mom said that he didn't help her do anything. What is his name? They call him every time there's like a police shooting or something. Dang, what is his name? I forgot. See, this is why I like to take notes. But y'all know who I'm talking about. He's the only lawyer. Start with a C. Crump Crump. Mm-hmm. They put him out there. He ain't doing nothing for the people, but getting checks so the people could calm down. Okay? Watch that interview Tamir Rice mom did with Tasha K. She said Ben Crump, that's his name. She said that she felt like he was put in place or he came about to keep her calm because he told her that if she wanted to get things resolved, she was going to have to be calm and she couldn't be all rowdy. And I bet he had something to do with Kanika Jenkins' mom too, allegedly. I don't know. That's probably why she regret everything and going through what she's going through, because allegedly she's going through a whole lot. Okay? But I don't know, child. But yeah, so it makes sense to give black people someone, even though I believe Kaepernick had some negative talk to say about Jay-Z. I believe, allegedly, Kaepernick said that Jay-Z made things worse for him. Or he didn't help the situation or something. Because remember, the whole problem why black people were mad with the NFL was because of Kaepernick. And then Jay-Z came out like, okay, all right. Like, I don't know who volunteered this dude. I mean, I don't know who elected this dude to be leader of the free world, black people. Who gave him that power? Then he sat up there and said that he didn't understand why Kendrick and Drake were having the beef, and he had nothing to do with the beef between Kendrick and Lamar, but yet you promoted it. Darn sure promoted it. Okay? I mean, put it all the way out there. And he was like, that was a good show, you know. But he was like, he didn't have anything to do with that. I beg to differ. Because I thought I remember hearing something about allegedly Drake doing something big, or something big was going to happen, and then the next thing you know, that whole mess came out with that beef with Kendrick Lamar and Drake came out. And if you think about that beef, Kendrick kept saying A minor. Y'all remember that, right? Making it look like Drake was one of them P people. But have we ever heard of anything with Drake? I mean, I do remember hearing a story allegedly about Drake and that girl from Stranger Things. I think people were saying it looked suspicious that he was hanging with her and she was such a young age or something. And he was spotted with her a couple of times allegedly. So I don't know. I'm confused why Drake didn't come out and say that's not true or something, defend himself. I guess he didn't need to. Because I believe Drake is on tour. I know he was, last year he was on tour. And that was the quietest tour I've ever heard of. Okay? Because when Beyonce go on tour every year, everybody got to hear about that. The whole world. And then Mama Tina over here, if you think about it, that whole... it seemed like the Knowles / Carter are really going through it this year. Okay? Why they trying to make 2026 about them? Mama Knowles out here with this making people sick with this gumbo allegedly. Out here selling cups of soup, cups of gumbo that look like soup for $25. Making folks sick allegedly. Then you got the grandson out here. We heard he played for the other team. Then the next thing you know, he out here with that old woman. He 21 allegedly. Tommy Lee is 41, which makes me feel like that's a PR stunt because it came and then now a lot of people are talking about that, but a lot of people are still talking about that gumbo situation. Okay? Because that was a whole hot mess. Okay? Like Mama Tina did not prepare herself for this. I feel like that may have been allegedly. I don't know these people. I'm just speaking my opinion. But that whole gumbo stand and all, I'm thinking maybe she didn't think about that last year. Maybe she just thought about that in January or February. And said, you know what? I'm going to get out there and put out my gumbo. But allegedly, I'm hearing that that's not even her recipe. That is someone else's recipe and she was the face. So I don't know. You know, people talk. We don't know if they telling the truth or not. Right? They just be talking. But yeah, D. Haven was the guy. I was trying to remember Jay-Z's so-called friend, D. Haven. He's the guy who was in Marcy Projects with Jay-Z, and he ended up going to prison. But he thought that he was going down like Jay-Z, and Jay-Z was going down, and come to find out he was the only one going down. Just like, what's that dude who was with, the one who teeth fell out his mouth. Ugh, I can't, ugh. What's that guy name? He's so cocky too. Oh my goodness. Them New York dudes. Boy, I tell you. What's that dude name who teeth fell out? Okay, he up there talking so much, probably lying. Teeth done came out his doggone mouth. Apparently, Jay-Z did him wrong. He thought they were both starting something new or going from one thing to the next thing with the Rockaware stuff, and Jay-Z just left him hanging. So yeah, he known for doing people wrong. Okay? Diddy gets locked up, go to prison, go to court, and he out here talking about he don't even hang with him like that. He don't even know that dude like that. They just had some business dealings. They not even friends. It's like, dude, you was at his parties? Oh, my nose itching. It's just a tip too. It's crazy. You was at his parties and all. So that's what Jay-Z do. But I just thought it was real strange how Jay-Z just lie. He sat right there and just told lie after lie after lie. It's 2026. Y'all got to wake up out here. If people could feel that free to put on a show, because that's what that was. That was a show. That wasn't real. Okay? If you couldn't see through that and how fake and phony that was so fake and phony. But he definitely put on. He put on for the city, on for the city, because that was just putting on. Lying, sitting up there just lying about everything. He don't do this. He Jay-Z. He Hove. And I'm like, what? Dude, like, cocky much? The nerve. Let me see. Who else he undone wrong? And I can think of. Oh, Kanye. Okay? And then he trusts to quote Kanye and had the nerve to not talk about why Kanye said, Jay, don't get your killers after me. And that's not alleged because he actually said it. Why would Kanye say, Jay, don't put your killers on me, if he didn't think Jay, if he didn't really think Jay may put his killers on him? Now, it's all alleged. I don't know none of these people, right? But I don't know if y'all remember when everything was going on with Jay-Z and Busby. Busby put out that people were harassing his old staff members, some of his old people who he represented in cases or didn't represent in cases, but they came to Busby's lawyer office or whatever to have consultations or whatever. And y'all know what I'm trying to say. Busby said that people were knocking on people's doors, showing up to their houses, allegedly. But this is what he said. This was the rumors. This was the word. Busby said people were showing up. He did. Matter of fact, I believe I did a video about it. People were showing up, asking for information. And he said he believed, allegedly, Busby said that he believed that was Jay-Z people. Jay-Z hired these people to go try getting information on Busby. So it makes sense why Kanye said what he said. Because he would know, right? He would know. He know how they do. I just think about how Jay-Z and Diddy, like, they're not real friends. They're not friends with nobody. Okay? They're so dark and demonic that anything they try to do, like, it may seem like they're getting over for a little bit, but that's only for a little bit. That's not going to happen. That's not going to last them a lifetime. I'm telling y'all, Jay-Z gonna go down hard. Probably just like Diddy or worse. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I don't know. Let me go ahead and end this video. That's all I got to say. I just had to break it down. I was trying to think of what else I'm missing here because I know I'm missing a lot of stuff. And as soon as I finish doing this video, I'm going to be like, I meant to say, but that's all right. I'll come back with another part, a part 3, because I just want y'all to wake up. Like, come on, it's 2026. You guys, y'all can't be out here worshiping these folks who don't mean you no good. They're just using your energy. If you understand how energy works, then you'll know exactly why Jay-Z is having that, why he's wanting to be a part of the Roots picnic this year. Yeah, well, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I may be back with another video because I wanted to watch that Carisha and Charlamagne interview, even though I really didn't want to talk bad about Carisha, but I already knew. When I saw that interview is an hour long, I'm thinking Jay-Z interview wasn't even that long, and he hove. I'm being funny. I'm so being funny, okay? But what does Carisha have to say for an hour? I don't mean no harm. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful to Carisha. I want to like her so bad. So bad. Ain't that what she say? Real bad. Real bad. Oh my goodness. Poor Carisha. So I'm gonna watch that very long interview, and then I'm gonna come back and do my review on that very long interview, because I heard she said some stuff about Diddy, how she support him or whatever, and I'm like, girl, we know you support him, okay? And all the messy stuff, all the pissy stuff, all the rank stuff he done did to you, we know you support him. We know, because who else you got? What other man gonna come behind that? Okay? Possibly being peed on, allegedly being urinated on. Who want that but Cassie husband? Okay. See, that's why I'm about to get off here right now. All right. Y'all make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. What's up? Izzo Taurus. What's up? Again, thank you to all my new subscribers. I see my subscribers are growing. I'm so happy about that. Yay me. Okay, yay you, because you getting some content. You getting a chance to hear something different than what you're being hearing. Okay? Because I'm not like everybody else. All right, I give my opinion. I go into some little detail about some spiritual stuff on that level. And yeah, it is what it is. But y'all have a good evening. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. And until next time, peace.